Apologies, everybody. I'm a couple minutes outside of this here, but Iowa State has a 4-3 lead over the Kansas Jayhawks. Let me get set up here. So as we get set to check in, it's about 16:45 left to go in this first. So really just getting going here. And Amos, it'll be the Kansas Jayhawks, number 9, head coach by Bill Self, 12-3, 3-1 in the Big 12. It'll be Dajuan Harris Jr., Shakeel Moore, Zeke Mayo, KJ Adams Jr., and Hunter Dickinson. And for Iowa State, head coach by TJ Otzelberger, Tamin Lipsey, Keshon Gilbert, Milan Moncilovic, Joshua Jefferson, Dishon Jackson. And you have Curtis Jones off the bench, who can absolutely be a game breaker. I'm going to get into the play-by-play here in just a second as we get things going here. So this will be Iowa State basketball here as Sean Jackson, again, able to get a steal. Again, that's going to be a little bit ahead of mine. It's about 5 seconds ahead as far as what's shown on the ESPN box. As Hunter Dickinson has the ball on the high post, but it's a lazy pass. We've seen that a little bit at Michigan when he spent this time over there. As this is an opportunity now for Jackson inside. Good pass there from Keshon Gilbert. And Iowa State has a 6-3 lead with 16 minutes left to go in the first. Again, Iowa State, number 2, this is as high as they've ever been in program history as the jumper was missed. Picked up now for Iowa State and toward Jones. Jones is being harassed there by Harris. Inside pass. This one is easily picked off by Kansas. But we'll start this one again alongside Zeke Mayo, who will use the screen. Mayo now off the step back to Hunter Dickinson, who's all of 7-2. Harris inside, dumped to Dickinson, and that was too easy. Again, when you have that type of size in college basketball, it makes them impossible to deal with. 16, 11, and 2, and a steal and a half and a block and a half each. So opportunity now for Keshon Gilbert. Gilbert, nice step back, bought himself the space, but he missed the jumper, as this is outletted by KJ Adams. Harris off the jump stop. Now Hunter Dickinson at the top of the key. One more extra pass there for Mayo. Got trapped in the corner. And a foul is going to be called against the Cyclones. We'll take a commercial break. 14:55 left in the first. It's a 6-5 lead for Iowa State. So far in this game, Zeke Mayo 1 for 2. He had a 3 for Kansas. Hunter Dickinson's got the extra basket. And Lipsey, Jones, and Dishon Jackson, this time off the bench. They started with Brandon Chatfield, who's usually the backup big. He's a 6'10 senior out of Orofino, Indiana. Davidson is all over LaSalle, 41-27. Any other standout scores here will get you there. Richmond Spiders and St. Bonaventure, that's tied at 10 in their timeout. Wright State in the Horizon League, again, they got a good win over Oakland the other day, my alma mater. 22-15 they're ahead. And Oakland has the early lead on IU Indianapolis, 7-4. They're at the arena right now in the TV timeout, so Neil Rule's probably calling that game. I could have probably called my alma mater again, but I wanted to get this big-time matchup because it's not very often that we have this happen, and Iowa State wasn't expected, I don't think, to be this good. Penn State, Michigan State, and Nittany Lions and Spartans get set to tip off shortly after 7:30. Georgia and Tennessee will be on the SEC network. Bulldogs ranked 23, Volunteers number 6. Volunteers are 15-1 on the season. Georgia 14-2. Washington 10-7 on the year. We'll get to take Purdue, Big Ten as well. Boilermakers 17th at 13-4 under Matt Painter. And that's really the only other big ones that we have tonight. This is probably the biggest matchup we're going to have all day. And one of the better ones in college basketball, all told. Tomorrow, I'll be back with the Red Wings and Panthers. Again, that's a house of horrors usually for Detroit. I don't know how I feel about that, whether I should or shouldn't. Maybe I could think of another assignment on Thursday. I'll have to look at the scoreboard again. Only a couple of hockey games to tell you about today in the Oilers and Wild. And then there's a nightcap as well. So when Wilt Chamberlain of Kansas played Iowa State, he had 17 points, the second lowest of his career. And Gary Thompson had 18 points. It was a game high. That's pretty cool. Good camera shots. January 14th, 1957. Chance to see Wilt Chamberlain with the Kansas Jayhawks. That's pretty cool. So we check back into play weeks in the AP Top 5 entering the season 10. This season 9. Currently number 2, the highest in program history under Otzelberger. So out of the timeout, it's Harris Jr. with the basketball. A couple of jump stops there. KJ takes a shot, and this one will rattle in for Kansas. And they have a 7-6 lead on Zeke Mayo, 5 points on 2 of 3. You pull back up my rosters here for the Cyclones. As we get a foul on the floor, this will stay with Iowa State. And that will get picked up against KJ Adams Jr. Gary Thompson, the Iowa State guard from 54-57, is in the house today, the 90-year-old, sitting in the Raptors for the Cyclones. Pretty cool to see. Lipsey. Now to the right side is Jackson. Trying to get a post up on Hunter Dickinson. That's not happening. As this is in the left side elbow. Jefferson can't get his shot off. Now back to Jackson, trying to get around Dickinson. Hand in the air. Good contest for Hunter. As it's Kansas basketball. Now on the left side of the key. Now at the top. This will be an opportunity for Zeke Mayo. Trying to make a pass inside the post. That was a little too lazy there for KJ near the right elbow. And this will be turned over by the Jayhawks. Bill Self says, hey, wait a minute. Let's run the offense and not try to get too silly here. 4 turnovers already for the Jayhawks, 2 for the Cyclones. The Lions are a 9.5-point favorite on the Commanders. Is that too much or too little? You let me know there. Jackson at the top of the key now needs to pass out. Get this here on the other side. Off the back down. Jackson still trying to get his outlet, and Shotfield will let one fly as this one is too strong off the front of the rim. And it'll be recollected here for Shakeel Moore. Moore trying to get around the defense as this will go to the right side of the paint. Their bounce pass for Harris inside Hunter Dickinson, cross-court feed. And this one will be short off the front of the rim by Moore. Battled, and this will stay with the Jayhawks off the tip. 13-16 left to go in the first. Kansas is going to get set to go ahead and make some changes. It's Rylan Griffen going to get set to come in. We'll see who will check out. So Rylan Griffen will get set to check in here. And again, this isn't updated on the other side for the ESPN box, but they're going to say it's Iowa State's basketball. So 13-10 left to go in the first. Iowa State only down 1 is Lipsey. Trying to do some dipsy doodle. Inside pass toward the right elbow. This is a foul. And Jefferson's going to be able to go to the line and shoot some free throws here. As that one's going to get picked up by Hunter Dickinson. So they were going to give it to Dickinson, but they're going to give it to Bidunga. Excuse me. So Flory Bidunga, as I bounce all over myself. Again, don't cover college basketball that often. I didn't want to miss this one. So we'll continue to follow all the way across. As Jefferson will go to the line. His stat line that I was looking at is Iowa sits at 14-1 Iowa State. Pretty balanced all the way across the board as he's too strong on the first. The second free throw would tie it at the 13:02 mark. College football national championship will be Monday, Iowa State and Notre Dame. I might take that day off selfishly just to watch that one, to be honest with you. I think Ohio State's probably winning the whole thing, and that's why J.D. Vance wanted to get some time off during the inauguration. It's on the same day. So this will be pushed back by Mayo. Too many steps. I think he got forced into the travel violation, unless they're going to say that Bill Self got the timeout. And the crowd is really upset because I think I would be too. Looked like he might have traveled with it and was pushing out of bounds, but Bill Self says, you know what? We're going to save you before the turnover. Let's take a break. So Dajuan Harris Jr. took a floater that was pretty strong from 12 feet as he knocks that one down, and Kansas now has the lead at 9-7. It's been a slow start offensively. 27-game home streak, fourth longest active in Division I. Says Industrious will lose the ball there for a moment. When they give the actual announcements there from Dan Schulman, I will fix that one. Is this one's knocked down by Noges. 9-9. We're just going to go with the first name. So 9-9 with 12:05 left to go in the first. As Harris pocket pass, and Mayo had a red carpet lay-in toward the baseline. We'll make it 11-9. That was too easy there. As it's 11:55 left to go in the first. And toward the back cut. So it'll be Lipsey. Try to get to the set as big to the rim, gets swatted. And this, I think, will be saved by Kansas. As Bidunga was able to get a block. And we will take another whistle here with 11:46.
Tom Hayes is passive progressive.
The way Kevin says he always has to help you.
Tom doesn't have progressive, so he takes it out on those of you.
That's great. You have no idea how long you have.
Progressive called me back at one point about
Support when you need it. Wonder what that's like, huh?
involved. No, Tom.
Don't be passive progressive.
Bad, right?
Switch to get good coverage and savings for yourself.
It saves looks loaded. It's sad. So let Jimmy John's fix that. And your free chips and free drink. Turning every sandwich and wrap into a combo. All free after your shift. Only at Jimmy John's.
If you love to travel, Capital One has a rewards credit card that's perfect for you.
What's going on with you, Ian?
Unlimited double miles on everything you buy, and turn everyday purchases into extraordinary trips, and get access to over 1,300 airport lounges where you just check in and chill out. Open up a world of possibilities with Capital One. What's in your wallet?
In a little bit of a commercial break now. Let's try to get this one going again.
Never thought you dream. And one day, she did. You were made to chase your passions. We were made to put them in a package.
All right, I think we got it.
Yes. What's going on, my friend?
Not much. Just
You must learn to let go.
just hopped on to see who was up, and I saw your space going.
Yeah, I jumped in a couple minutes late myself, but didn't miss more than a minute or whatever. I'm just going to try to see what this top matchup's going to bring.
Yeah, well, even though I usually root for the lower seed just for chaos purposes, it is always, as a Mizzou fan, you always pray on the downfall of KU, no matter what sport it is.
Yeah, it's one of the teams that's always there in the tournament alongside Bill Self. I'm pretty interested, though, for this Iowa State team that I did not realize how good they actually are. So as we continue to follow along, let's see if the Cyclones can, do damage in the regular season, even in the tournament. So right in off the inbounds, as this will check back into the action. The camera cut late. I think Iowa State knocked down a three.
They did. Curtis Jones.
So Curtis Jones going to knock that one down as Iowa State takes a 12-11 lead, and this will be a foul on the floor. It will stay with the Jayhawks here as it's 11:25 left to go in the first. I got Ian Genji here along with me. Try to check this one in, and that was set up for Jones. And I did notice and prep for this game yesterday, he comes off the bench routinely for the Cyclones, and he can put up 25, 30 points in a snap. So instant offense as Harris gave this off the trigger from Mayo, who's got 7 for the Jayhawks. Harris with a floater, too strong off the front of the rim. And this will be rebounded by the Cyclones. And Watson, long three, knocks it down again as Jones. 15-11 now as Iowa State's got a 4-point lead. It's their largest. As we still got half of the first left to go, Mayo, jump stop, now he'll fade. Knock that one down. That was a pretty nice basket there for the Jayhawks from 10 feet. He's got 9. Again, I'm looking on the NHL and ESPN. I'm thinking about covering the Red Wings and Panthers tomorrow, but I'm also very nervous as this will be recollected for the Cyclones. A couple of jump stops and toward an inside pass, and this will be blocked, and this will stay with the Cyclones. So Chatfield was the inside recipient of the pass, but it got knocked away by the defense. It's a 2-point lead for Iowa State, 10:36 left to go. Curtis Jones has scored the last 8, so a little bit of that spark plug that we talked about. Inside pass for Jackson against Hunter Dickinson, the former U of M man, and a foul will be called against Hunter. That could be his second. Make sure you look that up here. So he's got 2 points on 1 of 2. They really don't want to get him in foul trouble because there aren't a lot of guys in college basketball that are 7-2 as Jackson goes to the line. But a 75% free throw shooter, about 10 points per game on the year as he misses the first. Split the pair there does Jackson. 2 for 4 is the Cyclones at the line. Kansas does not have a free throw yet. They're down 3 with 10:25 left to go in the first. Be an opportunity now for Jayhawks toward the right side. Dickinson can shoot the 3. This one too strong off the back iron. And this will be recollected here for the Cyclones. Nice split through the defense and blocked by Bidunga the other way. As this will be started here for Mayo. Mayo off the bounce pass to KJ Adams, who goes right at the rim too strong. Gets his own rebound, then he gets blocked again. Adams a third time. Now he gets fouled and falls very hard on his tailbone. So physicality at a premium here is KJ Adams, a little bit slow to get up. He wants a little bit of a couple extra breaths. And now he'll take his time with the elevator up to the top by Hunter Dickinson. 9:56 left to go in this first. Good defense there. KJ Adams able to knock it away on the other end. And then KJ Adams, as much as he got that block, he got taken down pretty hard off a couple of jumps. So we'll go to the line, the 6'7" senior out of Austin, Texas. First one will be up and good. And Kansas, should they make it, will only be down 1. Again, for KJ, about 8, 4, and 2 on the season. That's points, assists, and points, rebounds, and assists, respectively. As they're in Amos, Iowa right now for this home game for the Cyclones. KJ Adams hits both. Will be an opportunity toward the right side wing here for Iowa State. And we pull back up the rosters. There is Lipsey, inside pass, and this will be finished off by Dishon Jackson. It's back to a 3-point lead. He's already got 5. He's 5 points away from his average on the season. KJ, take a pass for Mayo. He will float it over the glass and a couple of defense. And that's a good basket there for Mayo, who has been Kansas's best performer in this game. A little bit of a carry not called. Inside pass for Jackson. He's going to get an easy dunk right in front. Just a standing dunk right in front of the rim. Back to back there, as it is a 2017 lead. A little trap in the backcourt. We'll see if Iowa State forced the turnover. And I think they did, according to the reaction to Sean Gilbert. End up forcing that steal. 9-10 left to go here in the first. Bill Self has watched his squad turn it over 6 times already, and they're just to the half of the first. So inside pass a couple times there for Joshua Jefferson, big to big, as this will go to Jackson. Now this will be a pass toward Jackson. Jefferson waiting on the right side of the key. And I think they're going to say that Jefferson maybe walked with it, or they're going to put it on Hunter Dickinson. That's his second. So Hunter Dickinson, unless he reached there, I didn't see a foul much either. And I'm not trying to call this game one way or the other, but Hunter Dickinson's going to pick up his second. So he's going to have to sit. That is a nightmare scenario for the Jayhawks, because that is a guy that gives you instant offense. Again, we talk about 16, 11, and 2, and a steal and a half and a block and a half to go with it. So Jackson now off the pass inside. This will be a mid-range shot for Jones. He's got it on lock right now. 22-17 in Iowa State. I'm not saying threatening to pull away, but Curtis Jones, 12 points on 5 of 5. He's scoring from everywhere. Harris, inside pass. This is deflected by the Cyclones out of bounds. So Jayhawks will get one more chance at this. So 5 for 5 already for Curtis Jones, as the Jayhawks will get set to make some changes as well. I think Milanovic was supposed to play today, but I see him in a sweater, so don't think he's going to be suited up for the game. As verse on the right side, this will go to Harris toward the Cyclones logo. Jayhawks need some points. Harris, contact right at the rim, and he draws the foul. We'll go to the line to shoot. Both teams have 4. That one will be picked on Brandon Chatfield. So Harris is not going to be able to knock down the first free throw, as we'll get some more changes into the lineup for the Jayhawks. We'll see if he gets a chance to make the next one. Harris is going to miss both. That one a little bit too strong as Jones gets it off the back iron and out to Sean Gilbert. Gilbert is one of those guys in the backcourt as a starter that can fill it up quickly. Not a lot of size there, I noticed, for the Cyclones in their backcourt. As Jones make it 6 for 6 through a mall phone booth and then floats it into the left side of the baseline. 8-2 run for the Cyclones. KJ Adams at the top of the key now. So 14 points for Harris. Kansas in all sort of trouble. This is too short off the front of the rim. Hurst has the rebound. This is stolen by Kansas. Picked up by Iowa State, and an inside pass is picked off. A little bit sloppy there for the Cyclones, as the pill was going back and forth a couple times. 7:45 left to go in this first. Harris, pocket pass to KJ near the right elbow. trying to spin around Jackson. Wild pass across court. It's going to hit. And the Jayhawks hit the jumper there. A.J. Storr off the bench. Makes it 24-19. A foul is going to be called on Chatfield. It'll be a turnover for a illegal screen, and that will draw us into a TV timeout. Harris and they've been on fire. Jones, especially Curtis Jones, has been ridiculous in this game. Toward the right side, gets through a couple of reaches, 6 for 6. He's got 14 points, 7:27 left to go in the half.
And ESPN Hockey Night Prime Time doubleheader. Trust Bosley to get it growing naturally. And you should too. Here's the best part. Bosley's permanent solution is protected by the Bosley Guarantee. Yeah, the Bosley Guarantee totally rules. And you can take that to another level. Go on, let Bosley give you
So they're looking at some highlights here for Curtis Jones. And he averages 17. He's already pretty much close to that with 7:27 left to go here in the first. The Cyclones, as we're going to check back into the action, of a 24-19 lead. It's been a one-man show so far. So let's check back into this officially. Curtis Jones and Dishon Jackson have 21 points on 9 of 10. The rest of the Cyclones, 3 points on 1 of 10. You can almost kind of make that same comparison for Zeke Mayo, who's got 9 for Kansas, and the rest of the team's not shooting all that well. But we're continuing to follow along here on ESPN2. 50% shooting here for the Cyclones. As Harris now for KJ, inside pass. Bidunga gets it ripped away by Heiss. And now the 7th turnover already for the Jayhawks. Lipsey, Heiss tries to go baseline, but I think a foul is called first unless we get a carry here. That is what we're going to get. So Otzelberger not going to be too happy on the other side, but it's going to be a turnover against Heiss, who just got the steal nonetheless. So 5 turnovers for the Cyclones, 7 for the Jayhawks. As Moore now has the basketball on the right side, Bidunga with the screen. Be an opportunity for Mayo toward the right side. Long pass to KJ Adams. He will catch it off the jump and now take it from 14 and knock it down. So good looking jumper there from KJ, about 12 feet. Makes it 24-21. He's got 4 points and 4 rebounds. He's kind of the small forward prototypical KJ Adams, kind of a little bit all over the stat sheet. Lipsey inside to Jackson. Jackson's not been able to be stopped until he draws the foul. So that will go against Bidunga, 24-21. Michigan State already has an 8-2 lead on the Nittany Lions. That'll be on Big Ten. I'll try to give you some college basketball scores and go across the league a little bit once we get through the half. Sean Jackson going to go to the line, shoot 2. He makes both of these. He'll have 9. Alabama and Kentucky will be a matchup on Saturday at noon. But I think on the Monday side, I'm probably going to watch a little bit for Ohio State and Notre Dame and see who wins the national championship. Might just take that one as a watch. I wanted to see what happens. So Jackson will make both. And Iowa State's lead is back up by 5, 26-21. 4 for 6 from the free throw line of the Cyclones, 2 for 4 of the Jayhawks. It's a matchup of number 9 and number 2. Cyclones have never been ranked this high in their program history. Mayo has it stripped away. It's been gang defense here for the Cyclones as Heist gets another piece. And now Jones, who has been hot. This is toward the right side off the pass. This is ripped by Adams. What can he do with it? Now he'll go to the lane to the contact. This will be picked up by Heist and then ripped away by Adams again. Adams one more time. It's too strong off the back iron. Now an opportunity for Jones to start again, and Iowa State can breathe a sigh of relief, puts his head down, goes to the rim to the contact. What a rebound there for Heist. And they'll get another whistle as we might have a shot clock violation problem, not toward the players, but the Zebras are getting together to fix anything after all those gang rebounds. They just couldn't get it reset correctly. So we'll take a moment as Iowa State will make some changes nonetheless. So this will be the ball for the Cyclones as you take a look at KJ Adams off a couple of cuts. It was ripped away by the Cyclones, and then Adams kept trying to go to the rim. He kept getting denied. 10-21 as Iowa State as Heist will get a chance to sit down. Triggerman is Jones as this one will get knocked away. He missed it toward the left side corner. Opportunity now here for Mayo off the step back. It's a good look if he can hit it. It's too short off the front of the rim. Now push the other way for Gilbert. Gilbert's going to shoot the long-range 3 and step right into it and knock it down. That's going to bring the crowd to their feet. 5:18 left to go in the first. I guess all I'm left to know is where is the rest of this Kansas offense going to come from? Bill Self's got to take another TO. He's already used 3 as Iowa State's up by 8. We'll take a break. 29-21. Cyclones looking good, especially with their defense.
An upset happened involving my Missouri Tigers yesterday. They took down number 5 Florida.
That is pretty damn sweet, my friend. Anytime you get a chance to have that. The last time I had one of those was so many years ago when I was at school at Oakland University in the Michigan side when they took down number 3 ranked Tennessee. So when you get those type of upsets, you make sure you enjoy those. Those are extra special.
Well, there's only 2 of those this
2?
year because earlier this year they took down Kansas when they were number 1.
That is pretty damn cool. Hopefully that leads to some good things in the tournament because you have those wins on your resume. That should be pretty easy to be able to get in.
Yeah, they've been okay for the most part
Mm-hmm.
in conference play so far. They lost to Auburn, which
they're number 1, correct?
Auburn was ranked number 2.
Right.
So, and then I think they beat LSU and they beat Florida. I don't know who else they beat, but they only have 3 losses on the season.
Yeah, and you already have a couple of those powerhouse wins as you talked about, so you got to feel good about that, and that's a hell of a resume that you can build. Because when you think about bracketology and the seeds and everything else they talk about during March Madness before they get that all set up, that is quite good stuff. I was in Vegas one time to watch the Red Wings and Golden Knights play. That was during March Madness. That was on my birthday on March 22nd, and that was probably one of the most fun trips I had because you get a chance to watch all the college basketball too and just enjoy all the sights and sounds. And hopefully you get a chance to do that one day as well. I would definitely recommend it. This will be an opportunity for Mayo. Now to KJ Adams. 29-21 is the score. Kansas down by 8. They've committed a ton of fouls. Harris does not shoot the jumper. Another good look for Mayo. Good movement off the ball. KJ tips it. This will be Harris for 3, and second opportunity knocks it down. That was really good ball movement there for the Jayhawks. Probably their best of the game with 4:10 left to go in this first. So Iowa State 4-0 in Big 12 play. Kansas 3-1. Kansas 12-3. Iowa State 14-1. It's the highest their program's ever been ranked as Gilbert gets pickpocketed by Harris. Harris with a beautiful Euro that gets swatted off the back iron. What a play. Now running the other way. Jones off the jump stop can't shoot. And we'll get a travel against the Cyclones. Hopefully get another look to take a look at that block that just happened there for Watson. That was disgusting. Harris had a wide open Euro layup. Not until I got blocked off the back iron by Watson. He just comes off the TV screen from nowhere and slaps that thing right off the glass as we'll take a timeout. So 3:47 as we're in the middle of the commercial break, just typing up some of the notes for the game story. Don't know how long all these ones are going to be, but I will try to get some a little bit of extra information there in Iowa State, kind of look up where they are in the program history, kind of put some thoughts in there into the story because I'm just interested. You see it 14-1 and 4-0 in the conference, and you see a team be as ranked as high as they are, more in school history against Kansas, who's usually a power, and see them play like this. If not for Auburn, again, as Ian had mentioned, who now sits at number 1, Iowa State 2. And we'll see if these guys end up switching places or dethroning each other. We're only a couple months really away from March Madness. A couple months away from the NHL trade deadline as well. There's going to be a lot going on there. I know Ian and I talked a little bit about that yesterday. Looks like my alma mater, the Oakland Golden Grizzlies, have a 36-25 lead at the half on IU Indianapolis. I did cover them once this year against Wright State. Wright State's a pretty good team who could maybe do something in the Horizon League, but again, in those mid-major schools, you have to win your tournament in order to get an NCAA bid to the dance. And Oakland, again, you look at their record at 6-12. A lot of the out-of-conference stuff alongside Michigan State, Illinois. They lost to Kansas this year. They did play them. They played pretty well. I think they only lost, by 15 to Kansas. But that's why they have all those extra losses. But that's what Greg Campy does to try to get them going in the right direction. You have those tough schedules the other way. So as we check back underneath the action here, I think Kansas tried to save the basketball. They could not. And Bill Self looks like he needs an Advil. When we're looking on that side, 9 turnovers on both ends for Kansas and Iowa State. It's just been a mess, especially for some of these traps that the Cyclones have been able to employ. Really no space for Moore to work with, no space for Harris, those guards to get going. And when your guards can't penetrate the lane or sit up your bigs or get creative from 3, that just forces you into bad situations when you're going to turn the ball over. Jones, now for Jackson. Jones off the double team will float it. Jackson picks it up and lays it right in and draws the foul too. My goodness, right in off the bench. He already pinned a shot against the glass. And now Iowa State threatening to take an 8-point lead here with 3:15 left to go in the first. I've been really impressed with their defense more so than anything else in this game. They've just kind of thrown Kansas into a lockbox, a little Pandora's box, and thrown away the key right now. And as a bystander of this one, as KJ Adams has 2 fouls already, and Jackson completes the and 1. Where's the offense going to come from? Because Dickinson's already been sitting with 2 fouls. He's out there now, and they need him to score points. Outside, inside, doesn't matter. As this is off the jump stop right to the rim, Dickinson wide open passes it to Mayo, who does not shoot. Now Dickinson back to Mayo. 8 seconds. Hunter Dickinson cross court. Good ball movement for Kansas, but nothing's open. Hayes will get this one. Mayo jump stop's got to shoot it now. He'll knock it down. It took all of the shot clock, all 30 seconds, but a little bit of a pump fake there for Zeke. Mayo knocks it down. Bounced up into the air. The pumpkin stays with the Cyclones. Hayes tried to get a hand on it, but he turns it over. So Kansas now forces the steal. 32-27. Mayo has been without a doubt the best player for Kansas on the floor, as he's been giving them instant offense, knocking down threes, hitting tough floaters, getting inside the lane. He's got 12 on 5 of 10. Everybody else, except with Harris that had the extra chance for a three-pointer as it was back-tapped by KJ, he's got 5, but there really isn't any other scoring to speak of. 2 or 4 is not going to get it done. Harris. Another long 3 there. Back-to-back baskets for the Jayhawks. And don't look now. It's a 2-point game. Rylan Griffen comes off the bench from Rakease Passmore. 2 backups combined on a 6-0 run. As it's Gilbert, floater. It bounced all the way around the rim and fell down, 34-30. Cyclones lead to 4. Hunter Dickinson off the back down to Gilbert. Cross-court pass. So Jones try to go ahead and get the defense there. Rylan Griffen trying to split the double team. I think he lost it off his legs, but they're going to say it bounced off of Iowa State instead. Gilbert was a little bit of a hip ride, so I guess got too close. Couple of opportunities off the dribbles for Kansas. Was able to keep the basketball as Garden a little bit too close. So Triggerman out of bounds for the Cyclones. Or are we going to get a jump here? My apologies, I'm all over myself. Get some more changes first. As we'll start this one again for Lipsey. We'll get it set to check back in. So shot clock 12. This should be sideline out of bounds. And it will be Harris. We'll get this one into Hunter Dickinson near the right elbow. And Kansas turns it over again. Harris can't hold the basketball. 10 turnovers aside. And I will say that I think it's reflected Kansas a little bit more as my four eyes continue to take this one in. Gilbert splits the double. Inside pass. This is a chance at the front of the rim by Jefferson. Gets denied. Another long three gets knocked down. Here for Curtis Jones, 7 of 10. He's got 17. Ball deflected. Kansas keeps it alive. They're really having a tough time with this Cyclones defense. Almost near the logo. Harris directing traffic. Now to Mayo. He's been Kansas's best player by far. Hunter Dickinson. Now whole set of vicious screen. Keeps Mayo wide open. Bounces off the head of one of the Cyclones. They save it off the double tap as Harris was trying to force a steal. Now they just need to get this across the timeline. They say, hurry up here. Make sure they don't get a backcourt violation. Gilbert toward the right elbow. Here is Jackson off the back down. It's picked off. Chance on the floor. Cyclones recover. Jones launches. He hits off the glass. Are you kidding? 8 for 11 now. 40-30. Iowa State's lead. It's an 8-0 run. 16-second shot clock turned off. Harris needs a basket. Screen soft there for Dickinson. Now, top of the key, Dickinson, one-hand hook, short. Dickinson again, can't hit it. Got to fire at the buzzer, and this goes off the backboards. It's 40-30. Iowa State has a 10-point lead, and they close the half on an 8-0 run. You can thank Jones for that half. My goodness. When we come back, we'll call the second half. Cyclones all business on defense.
So at the half, the Iowa State Cyclones are putting a pretty good whooping on the Kansas Jayhawks. Good whooping in terms of matchup wise, a 10-point lead.
Yeah.
And this,
It's pretty impressive, honestly, Ian, from what I'm seeing. And I was just typing in some notes for the game story, so I appreciate you jumping in. I know both teams have 10 turnovers, but again, I want to just reiterate this on the TV side from the radio call and all that. I'm noticing that Kansas just can't handle the ball pressure. Those double, triple teams, anything else that comes across, they're not able to run their offense. There was a couple times Zeke Mayo able to bail them out the long three. Other than that, Iowa State's looked pretty good. Again, in the mix between Dishon Jackson and, let me make sure I got this right again, Curtis Jones. That is 12 for 16 shooting and 32 points combined for the dynamic duo. Again, Jones normally comes off the bench, averages 17 and a half. He already has 20 for the Cyclones. So this has been a lot of fun to watch. I've been impressed from what I've seen, and I can definitely say I know what the record is. I know what the ranking is, so you should expect Iowa State to look good, but they really, really do look good. They're going to be fun to watch when it comes toward tournament time.
I agree. Yeah, and for once, I might be able to watch the NCAA tournament with my team in there, and
Yeah.
they'll actually look good.
Yeah, hopefully they end up winning a lot more games, Ian, and getting a good seed so you can start out pretty easy for the first couple of games and feel good about some easy wins, hopefully.
Oh, let's be real. There's no easy win in that tournament.
No, I can hear you on that. Sometimes it does happen. Again, you got Fairleigh Dickinson knocking out like Duke and stuff like that.
We
So
got Fairleigh Dickinson. We had your alma mater last year.
that is, yeah. I think Oakland.
Ian, my guy.
I think they did play against Missouri before a couple times.
Well, that, but you know, Oakland. I mean, your school. Who did they take down at the tourney round one? It was around one.
They took out Kentucky.
That's right.
I was so excited I almost lost my voice that day.
Yeah. Who was the guy that kept going out for you? That
Jack Golke. He was shooting like crazy.
Yep.
And then he turned out to be like an overnight sensation. He was on the Pat McAfee show and all that. He tried to get a burn with the Oklahoma City Thunder, and then now he's playing overseas. The Golden Grizzlies do have guys like that every once in a while because Kendrick Nunn played in the NBA for a little while. He's a multiple-time champion. He was on Oakland. Khalil Felder from Cleveland. I'm not trying to fanboy, but they do get some guys here and there that are NBA talent, so it's pretty cool.
You know, for Mizzou, I mean, Missouri's most notable player in the NBA right now is Michael Porter Jr.
That's a good one. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'd like to see what the Tigers can do, and at least honestly, Ian, you give me another team to root for because any friends of mine, I'll be rooting for their team. So I do know someone else I used to work with that also roots for Missouri or went to Missouri, so that is also pretty cool. So I'll definitely keep my eyes on it.
Yeah, they're honestly, it's strange watching a team like this because I can't. Actually, the reason they're winning, they play defense.
Yeah.
I mean, their centers are actually centers. They're giants.
Guard the paint, have tons of length and make it difficult, correct?
And I think at least one of them's tall, and I think he can shoot a little bit.
Right.
Yeah, but one thing they're good at, one thing that's underrated about them is that they're big men. Well, all of them, but they're big men especially. They can shoot and make free throws.
That is an extremely rare commodity because I know Oakland has a couple bigs this year, but they cannot make free throws to save their life. So if you can shoot and do that and protect the paint, yeah, Missouri's going to be in good standing. I know there's only a couple of scores on the NHL scoreboard, but one definitely shocked me. I know Carolina, I guess, had just scored. That one is on the TNT side, but Buffalo looks like they could take a 3-1 win maybe a little bit more and a little less. I'm just surprised they scored 3 on Carolina already. Ryan McLeod has a couple, and Dylan Cousins, whose names I keep hearing in trade rumors, got assisted by Alex Tuck. Ukko Pekka Luukkonen has been phenomenal, 32 of 33. He's outdueling Dustin Tokarski, who is playing in the backup bid because Carolina's got a lot of goaltending injuries, 22 of 25.
Dylan Cousins and Ryan McLeod, they are the type of guys. Because right now, Cousins and McLeod, I don't know where they play on the Buffalo lines. I don't know what their line assignments are.
I can look that up. Go ahead.
But, let's say they're first liners for the Buffalo Sabres. You get a team that's pushing for the playoffs, but they want to for sure shore up their third or fourth lines. Go get them.
Right now, Ian, my friend, I'm surprised because it's got to do with some of the injuries. Let me look at the injuries first, and then we'll give you. So Yuri Kulich and Jordan Greenway. Kulich was a good product there for the Sabres. He's a high pick, but right now they have Cousins and Ryan McLeod on the first line and second line. So first line center for Cousins, second line center for McLeod. Cousins is playing with Zucker and Tage Thompson. McLeod is playing with J.J. Peterka and Tuck.
Yeah. So with that, likely they're going to trade people because, well, there's just no. They would have to go on a St. Louis Blues 2019 type of run, and I just don't see that happening.
No, it's not happening.
So I'd say, put them out there, say we're open to new business, but understand we're selling high. And as we talked about last night, I think it was last night or 2 nights ago, this is a seller. This is going to be a buyer's market where buyer's market? No, seller's market, because there are a lot of buyers right now, as of right now, trying to find things. So anyone who's selling is going to be able to have some leverage.
I agree with you completely. I mean, that's well said. That's kind of where I'm thinking about it too, because as you talk about, there's a lot of teams in the mix in the East, especially. Everybody is bunched up together, and everybody probably thinks that they can make the playoffs at this point. Again, you're correct outside of the Sabres, who have 37 points. Again, the Red Wings dropped a difficult one the other day too, the Sharks, but they are only 4 points out after the run that they had been on. So Canadians good this year, Senators trying to get back in, Penguins in their last run, the Rangers trying to get back on track. I mean, who knows?
Honestly, the Penguins put themselves right where the Detroit Red Wings were after the Empire faded. I mean, they tried to hold on and they've held on too long. What we are about to see is the Penguins go back to their dark days.
That would not make Mr. Nava very happy. I don't know how I would feel about it. At least for me, selfishly, it'd be one less team in the Eastern Conference that I have to worry about.
Yeah. But what killed them was they did the exact same thing the Red Wings did. They kept the game together.
Yeah.
And they kept trying to win. Large contracts, long-term deals, no trade clauses. Sounding familiar?
Yes, unfortunately it is. Because I'm thinking about Jimmy Howard, Justin Abelkader, Jonathan Erickson, Oh my God. I mean, I understand all the problems that Steve Eisman, a couple of the contracts, I've talked about that, but everything that he inherited a nuclear wasteland. So now they're doing the same thing. They're putting Band-Aids on the Titanic.
Yeah. And then, Kyle, it looked like Kyle Dubas had struck gold when he swung that trade for Eric Carlson for basically nothing.
Mm-hmm.
But even that has turned out to be nothing as well.
It's all cap and stuff too, as you just laid out. So that really hurts Pittsburgh. And I really, as you said, they're kind of stuck into nothing at this point. They kind of have to let all the stuff run out with Carlson, Crosby, and Malkin and the like before they can even take the next step.
Yep.
I know we talked about it the other day too, but your St. Louis Blues did get that win over the Flames. They're going to be playing them again on Thursday.
Yeah. The Blues are. Oh my gosh. They are. They will not make the playoffs. They will not make the playoffs because their whole game plan revolves around Jordan Binnington and Joel Hofer being goalie gods every night
Yeah.
they play. I mean, you talked about the young defensive core. Some nights it seems like they play no defense whatsoever except for the goalies. And then last night, they get a quick score to open the game with Colton Parayko with a very beautiful one. And then it's not until the third period that they score again, and they can only hope that the other team has only scored one goal or two goals
Right.
for a chance to win. And sure, there have been some nights where where the offense has exploded and all their shots are going in, but it's few and far between. And that power play. Just, yeah. I'm not going to talk about that.
What do you think? I know I'm going to be stepping into this in a moment, but what do you think about Jim Montgomery?
He is. I feel like he can work out for the most part because this is still a relatively young team. You got Broberg, Holloway, Thomas, Cairo, Neighbors, among others. Braden is still playing out the rest of his contract and just not living up to what got him that deal. I think it'll be okay, but what has to happen is they need to find out who they are quickly before the deadline. They cannot go into that mediocre, and they need to figure out: are we going to the playoffs, or are we selling the team, or are we selling off what we can to get more draft capital?
Yeah, and you said that a little bit yesterday. I thought you laid it out perfectly. This next week's schedule following is going to be difficult, and they're going to end up figuring out who they are. They're going to have to figure it out, as you said. So Kansas will jump in immediately and turn it over, and then they'll do so again. 2 straight turnovers right out of the chute, 42-30, as this one deflected. Kansas tries to pick it up. They can't do it. Lipsey get this one for Gilbert, and he can't flip it in. This will be picked up now for KJ Adams, cross-court pass. Have to start this one again for Kansas and see what they can do here. Shakeel Moore try to get this one from Mayo. He's really the only one that's been scoring. He missed it off the front of the rim, too short, as this will be rebounded by Jackson. 42-30. Kansas down by 12. As this will be off the half spin. Picked up now for Gilbert near the right wing from Jones. Shot clock to 15. Get the screen from Chatfield toward the right side. Couple extra passes for Jefferson. He was wide open from 6 feet and he missed it. This will start now for Mayo. Kansas needs baskets. They need to get anything that is not turnovers at this point. Moore. Now to KJ. Now to Harris. He's got it at the Iowa State logo. Shot clock down to 10 already. Harris with the step back. KJ Adams has to pick the ball up with his back foot. Now down to 5. It's taking so long to run this offense. Inside pass Dickinson, one-hand floater. He knocks it down. There's the touch. Again, the Wolverine was so good, Hunter Dickinson, but I'm not seeing any of that right now. He averages 16. He's only got 4. He had 2 fouls in that first half. As Jones will have it at the Cyclones logo. Screen there from Chatfield as this is off the step back. Jones has been hot. Try to get the rebound, but it's picked up by the Jayhawks. Harris now slowly across the timeline, trying to go right to left. KJ Adams can walk into a shot. And Hunter Dickinson instead will look for a back cut pass. Go right back to Hunter Dickinson, has to throw it cross court to Harris. Now Dickinson inside to KJ. This one gets knocked away out of the hands. Foul against the Cyclones. This will stay with the Jayhawks. 17-10 left to go in the second. So just one basket apiece here through 2 minutes and 50 seconds of action here in the second. The defense has been the main thing that my 4 eyes have watched throughout. The Cyclones have been excellent. Trigger out of bounds, and this will be turned over again by Kansas. They've had 5 possessions in this second half. They've already had 3 turnovers, 13 of them. As Gilbert will take it the other way now toward the right wing. He's being bothered by Harris off the step back. Now I'd like to get the screen there from Dishon Jackson. Gilbert still needs help. Off the pass this one out now for Jackson toward the right side off the spin against Hunter Dickinson, but he's a brick wall. They couldn't get past him. Now Dickinson forces the steal. Harris, he's off to the break. Pass hits his back foot. Kansas now has to pick it back up. Mayo has to launch a 3. He knocks it down. That was so unconventional, but Kansas, Zeke Mayo bails them out. 15 points on 3 of 7 shooting. My goodness. So the half-court defense is where it really gets tough. They couldn't even run a fast break there. It almost bounced off KJ Adams' back foot. It was a turnover. Inside pass. That's a missed finish there for Dishon Jackson. Saved by Kansas, and a foul be called against the Cyclones. 16:05. It's 42-35, Iowa State.
This is a very sloppy Kansas team.
It really is, Ian. I can't believe what I'm seeing here. Again, I mentioned alongside for Bill Self might need an Advil. He might need something stronger than that after this game because too many turnovers for my liking. So Bidunga going to get a chance to check back in number 40. He immediately will catch a layup lob and put that one in. So Kansas now with 5 straight points. I see Texas QB Quinn Ewers declared for the NFL draft. I wonder where he'll go. Ooh, big contact off the back of Adams. Looked like he caught his arm, maybe his elbow as well. He is moving around in pain, and that one is not a flop. He really is hurt toward that left side, maybe the right shoulder as well. He got smoked and off the screen as Bill Self immediately goes and checks in on a senior. Yeah, they're holding on a right shoulder, and as Watson came in toward the baseline, Adams had nowhere to go. We'll take a TO. We'll figure out what goes on with KJ. So we're in the TV timeout. Hopefully KJ Adams will be okay, but it was a baseline contact as Watson tried to go ahead and step through. Really, Adams and Watson had nowhere to go. They were going to run into each other full speed. And Demarion Watson, I think, might have got the best of Adams as he's holding on to the right shoulder. It's 42-37 for the Cyclones. And just for me, because I watched Hunter Dickinson for 3 seasons at Michigan, again, he wouldn't have transferred if he wouldn't have got the extra NIA money that the Jayhawks gave him. But he goes, I'm going to go where the money is, and I don't blame him. He's only got 4 points on 2 of 6. He's got 3 turnovers and 2 fouls. This is the worst game that I've ever seen him play. So maybe I feel a little bit spiteful. Maybe I don't. I'm not sure, but Hunter Dickinson does not look like himself.
Well, so I actually just pulled up the stats for the Missouri Tigers basketball team, and I can see how they're such a good team. I'll wait for the next break because I have a feeling we're going to come out of the TV timeout in a minute.
I think we're probably still going to wait through the injury. So if you want to give me some of it,
All right.
no problem.
So shooting wise, nothing really spectacular. They have as a team, they have a 49% field goal percentage, a 3-point field goal percentage, 37.
Not bad.
Yeah, they average 34.6 rebounds a game. Their opponents average 32.6 rebounds a game. Now we get to the part that makes this a great team. Their total assists, 235, compared to their opponents is 199. They average 13.8 assists per game as a team. And their turnovers, they have 186 to their opponents, 265.
So their high assist team that's efficient shooting and forces their turnovers and forces their opponents into a lot of turnovers and plays good defense. That is all the elite numbers that you just given me.
Yep. Oh, the steals. Their total number of steals are 175. Their opponents are 109. They are averaging 10.3 steals per game.
That is outrageous.
Yeah. They also, to couple that, they also average 3.4 blocks a game with 58 total on the season.
Yeah, so you talked about it, again, we mentioned in profile one for the Missouri Tigers. They shoot very well. They play good team ball. They play good defense, and they force their opponent into a lot of mistakes and steals and blocks. And that is how you're a very successful program. KJ Adams did go off the court in his own power, but I think Bidunga is going to get a lot of extra time. Kansas trying to get back into this thing now. It's 42-39. They got a 9-0 run here, and now Iowa State needs points. So with Bidunga and Dickinson, they should have a lot of size at the rim to make it difficult. And this one will be turned right over to Kansas off the rebound. So Kansas has an opportunity, if you can believe it. If they knock this 3 down, they would go on a 12-0 run. And all things considered, it kind of feels like it came out of thin air here because Bidunga, you had the layup, you have a Zeke Mayo 3. There was a lot of steals, missed layups, turnovers in the mix. Shakeel Moore had a jumper. So a lot of discombobulation now for Iowa State and Kansas as Kansas turns it over. Jones forces the steal. And now Gilbert will have this one here for Jones, who was really hot in that first half. Hasn't had a chance to get going yet. Jackson put his head down right at Bidunga and scores. No foul needed. 44-39. More. Joshua Jefferson with his 5th point. As this is Hunter Dickinson. Nice pass. And Bidunga tries to throw it down. He lost it for a moment, but the ball still fell into the cylinder. That would have been a crazy moment, but he did convert. Gilbert now probes baseline. Chatfield gets blocked by Bidunga. That's his 4th. Now more. Off a 2-on-1. He waits for help. Bidunga. This is taken away. It was a 4-on-1, and he couldn't get through the B's there. Pretty much stole the ball. Gilbert. And pass inside off the reverse. And Tipsy lays it in. 46-41. Bill Self can't believe it. Again, another easy one there as Gilbert ended up setting it up for Lipsey. 46-41. 13-15 left to go in this second. Dickinson probes from the top of the key. Extra pass. As Bidunga. He gets doubled again. Now for Dickinson, throws it up. Bidunga saves it. Now toward the right side. Here's a floater. This one partially blocked, and here's a battle for the basketball. We'll see what the possession arrow belongs to with the 12:57. This is going to stay with the Jayhawks. So Bidunga right off the bench has done an excellent job. Again, he's going to have to replace those minutes that KJ Adams provides with the right shoulder injury. And between him and Dickinson, Iowa State's either going to have to settle for some threes or float it or anything else that they can get away from those long outstretched hands. Bidunga now. Toward the right side for Mayo, off a screen from Dickinson. He'll step back, doesn't shoot, gives it to the right elbow for Hunter Dickinson, and he hits it, but he's fouled before the shot, they say. 46-41. KJ Adams maybe off the stinger. He's going to get set to try to come back to the players' bench at least. Maybe he'll check in a little bit later. Brandon Chatfield has 3 fouls, no points. That was last picked up from Dickinson. Bidunga. Now for Dickinson. Here's Harris. One more pass. Mayo, right side baseline. Hand in the air. This is blocked up a couple times, and the Pumpkins picked up now by Gilbert. Gets across the timeline and around more. Here's a screen from Jefferson as Gilbert toward the baseline, try to keep it alive. Foul is going to get picked up by Kansas with 12:22 left to go in the second. That'll be on Shakeel Moore. So Cyclones in Kansas having a tough time trying to score at the rim with all of this length. A lot of these layups have been forced. And even though Iowa State with 12:22 is 4 points away from the 50 mark, I think it might be first to maybe 57, I would say, wins this game. As Iowa State makes the first, KJ Adams will check back in. Bidunga did a great job in his steed as Gilbert's got one more at the free throw line. Bidunga's going to sit down. Gilbert hits both. And Iowa State's lead is 48-41 with 12:22 left to go in this second half. Crowd starts to rise to their feet as Otzelberger looks on here, trying to coach his team on defense. Harris a few times between his legs right at the Iowa State logo. He'll go right to the rim. He'll miss it too short off the back eye. And now Iowa State will take this one across for Jones. He's been locked up here so far in this second half. He already exploded past his scoring average. Toward the right side, pass too hot to handle for Gilbert. It'll be a turnover against the Cyclones. We'll take a TV timeout with 11:48. Iowa State up by 7, 48-41.
Kansas is falling into the same trap they fell into when they faced Missouri. They're not hitting their shots. Truth be told, John, that was not the biggest, but one of the big reasons that Missouri was able to pull out a win. And that was because KU, they did not shoot the ball well at all.
No. And a lot of the stuff right now, I'm sure I've been able to draw parallels from what you're talking about, Ian, because a lot of that's been contested for Iowa State against Kansas. A lot of that was contested for Missouri against Kansas. And a lot of the shots that I'm seeing right now are forces at the rim, having to double clutch through contests, all sorts of outstretched hands. You're not going to shoot a high percentage that way.
Yeah, when they played Mizzou, they only had a 39.7% field goal percentage. From 3 points, it was 34.8. They only missed 2 free throws, but they only had 11 free throws. That's another thing about Missouri. They don't foul a lot. That helps.
Well, again, from everything that you just talked about, Ian, we profiled all their numbers. They're also not fouling a lot. You're starting to make me believe the Tigers could do something pretty special this year.
Yeah. Oh, and another thing, Missouri had 14 steals, which helps culminate in Kansas having 22 total turnovers. Yeah.
That is.
And Missouri got 23 points off of those 22 turnovers.
That is how you run efficient offense. You also get easy ones. Again, you said at 23, Kansas already has 16 in this game, and we still have 11:48 left to go in the second half. So,
and Iowa has taken advantage for 21 points off of those turnovers.
Yeah, again, I think it's beautifully said by you. A lot of parallels being able to be drawn on both sides. And yeah, again, those are how you win games, especially in terms of you can play defense without fouling. I'm not sure what Dan Schulman and Jay Billis are eating. Looks like an upside down ice cream cone in a basketball.
I don't know.
But that is right in off the treats at Iowa State, and there's a real treat there for the Cyclones here as they have a 7-point lead over the Kansas Jayhawks, and now they're showing every single person in the stands that already has one of these ice cream cones, and now I want ice cream. It is 11:48 left to go in the second, and turnovers have been the story of the game. I know Ian had talked about in some of those parallels alongside Missouri. A lot of those have been drawn from Kansas and Iowa State here, having to force them into that many. Again, as Ian mentioned, in the mix, it is points off turnovers, 21 already off of 16 Kansas turnovers, 0 for 4 shooting. 2 of 11 is Iowa State, but at least they're making Kansas turn over the ball and forcing them into big holes. Here's a chance baseline as we get a really outstretched camera, and Kansas scores from Shakeel Moore. He's got 4 points on 2 of 4. We're almost at the halfway marker of this game. Again, I didn't want to say first to 50 quite yet. I think it'll be first to 55 as we got 11:15 left. Iowa State's got a 48-43 lead. Jump pass. Jefferson gets swatted. We'll see if this will stay with the Cyclones. Yes, it will. I got a piece of it from Hunter Dickinson. Dickinson doesn't want to pick up any more fouls. You only get 5 in college basketball.
How many does he have?
He has 2 right now, but he needs to get going here. He's only got 4 points. Kansas does have 8 blocks as Jefferson. Now for Lipsey for 3, that's huge because Iowa State, again, we mentioned 2 of the last 11. Lipsey hits it from the right wing. Tamin Lipsey, 7 points on 1 of 2 from distance. And Iowa State now back up by 8. Harris, he'll spin. He's still at the right wing. Inside pass, Dickinson one-hander. And that was more like the touch that we saw at Chrysler. And we'll see if Dickinson can continue that. 6 points on 3 of 8. It's really got to be his show right now. As Jones try to get this toward the right side for Gilbert. In the corner, Jones wide open. Nobody was even in a breath of him, but he missed it. And now Moore will get this one near the right side dot. As this will be cross baseline for Harris. Moore wide open for 3. He needs it. Dickinson, this bounced off of him. Might have knocked off his elbow. Maybe Jackson's going to pick the follow-up. I think he will. So Dickinson wants a hook and hold against Dishon Jackson. We'll see if he'll get one. I'll look on the box score for ESPN to see whose ball it is. So the foul will be called on Dishon Jackson. That'll be his second little hook and hold against Hunter Dickinson. Cross-court pass, Harris to Mayo off the double from Jefferson. KJ Adams, Hunter Dickinson misses it from 12. He was open. We're past the halfway mark of the half. It's a 51-45 lead for the Cyclones. Try to go baseline. Lipsey and Adams cut him off. Be a foul against KJ. That's his third. Should I be a little bit concerned that the Lions are a 9.5-point favorite against the Commanders? I do think they're going to win that game.
Just don't overlook him because he's a rookie.
Yeah, I do think Daniels is really damn good. $9:35 left to go in the second. A little floater, too short. Kansas, good spin move there. Shakeel Moore, here's a Euro for Harris. He rolls all over himself to draw the foul. That's going to make the crowd boo here. Lipsey's going to pick it up. That's his second to go with 7 points. Kansas should have an opportunity to go to the line. I think in the act of shooting, looked like he was doing a barrel roll, honestly. As I'm going to take a look at this now on the TV side, a little bit of a reverse. Didn't think he hit him on the hand. I think that's a good call. So free throws here for the Jayhawks. And Harris misses another. If you're keeping track at home, he's missed 3 straight at the line. 0 for 3 with 5 points. And Bill Self is going to call the troops over here. He'll have one more free throw. And I will step aside for a moment as we take a TO. So Buffalo wins their game against Carolina 4-2.
Yep.
That's back-to-back losses now for the Canes, who dropped one of the Ducks, and now the Sabres. Probably not good ones, but again, you're talking about goaltending help that they need. They were coming off a 6-3 win of the Leafs and 2-0 against the Canucks. They've been playing decently above 500 over that stretch for the Canes, and we'll see. Let me just look at their schedule really quick as they're looking through goaltending issues. They will have Vegas, Chicago, Dallas, Columbus, and then they'll go back-to-back against both New York teams to close out January. So a little bit hit and miss. I think Columbus has been playing very well of late in the mix of Vegas, who has been struggling trying to get back off the schneid over the last few games. Again, they're still in great standing in the Pacific. I think they've lost 3 of their last 4. So 2 teams that need a win. They'll be matching up again, Vegas and Carolina, on Friday. So again, Thursday, I think I'm going to go through the Red Wings and the Panthers. That will be on ESPN. So my ears will probably bleed a little bit, but it'll be Devils and Maple Leafs also on that side, and then Caps Sens, two teams that are battling for a playoff spot. The Caps are already doing very well in the Metro. That's not a team that I am ready to jump on board for yet, but we'll see. And their numbers have been very good. Oilers and Avalanche will be the late game on ESPN. Avalanche came all the way back to win last night against the Rangers as Shesterkin couldn't stop a late goal in OT. And then the Kings and Canucks will be at 10 o'clock. Kings have been playing very well. Canucks hanging in there as far as getting some points against 7, 8, and 6. They're all over it at home at Rogers. Against my better judgment, I took Ohio State to win the entire thing when the season started. Again, I say that as a Michigan fan. I'm glad that Michigan always gets that win over Ryan Day, but I think that they're going to beat Notre Dame on Monday.
Yeah, unfortunately, to my chagrin. Honestly, though, I gotta be honest, John.
Mm-hmm.
I gotta be honest, John. I'm actually rooting for the Meteor. I don't want either of them to win.
You're like me. I'm thinking about the same thing. I think you said it right.
The Notre Dame fan. Notre Dame is basically the Cowboys of college football.
Well said.
And Ohio State is Ohio State.
Yes.
Ohio State. Sorry, John. That's my coworker right there.
Hey, no, I don't blame you guys. If I had to make the same bet, I would do the same thing. I think they're going to win. 50.
Yeah, I don't gamble.
No, you don't gamble on stuff that you know that you can't win. That's what I always say. And then it's not gambling.
Although, man, I wish I would have. I used to work over in Kansas where sports betting is legal.
Sure.
And there are some nights, man, where I wish I could go back and say, hey, drop about 100 on the Chiefs in the Super Bowl. Because if you remember, it was the Niners who were the favorites.
Yes.
And after the game was over, after the Chiefs won, I saw people saying they made 15,000 and stuff like that. I'm like, fuck.
Yeah, it makes you think about regrets. Like an automatic block. I get you there. 7:50 left to go in this one here. Iowa State just missed a 3 and Kansas missed their basket right at the rim as Jones, Jefferson. These two teams have been ice cold here in the second half. Chatfield tries to throw it down. I'll allow Blake Griffen, and a foul is going to get called. Again, he doesn't have any points. He tried to sky up there. He does have the size, but 53-45. We will take another timeout here. Again, just 15 points to 13. Kansas has that edge in the second half, but they're down 53-45 as we take another break. 7:36 left. No, I'm with you on that. I think my biggest regret was when I was at the Oakland Press. I used to work at the local paper here doing high school sports and all that stuff when they were in Pontiac, Michigan and all that. But one of those times when we're in the sports section, we got to watch the expansion draft for the Vegas Golden Knights. And I'm not tooting my own horn here. All I said was, this team looks good enough to make the playoffs. I would put money on them to make the playoffs. I did not expect them to go to the Stanley Cup Finals and lose to the Caps. But I wonder how much money that would have paid out. I bet that would have been a lot.
Oh, it would have been. Oh man, dude, you would have been women in dough.
I know.
Yeah, you probably at the very least you could have bought yourself a very nice car.
That's what I'm thinking, because I know some of those will say, hey, they got to pay out to the Stanley Cup Finals and win. I'm not picking that. I just thought when that team was drafted and you got Marc-Andre Fleury, I mean, Ian, I don't even think you would say they would have finished in last place. They had talent.
Oh, they had but that's the thing, right? When I didn't even see the expansion draft. I actually got to watching hockey because of the Golden Knights, but I joined way late. Like by the time I started watching, the playoffs had already started.
Okay.
I just got myself caught up on their story.
Yeah, and it's different. And again, I know Seattle, you can say fair weather this and that. I do think Gary Bettman, and we can't really argue this because it's the truth. Gary Bettman set up Vegas for instant success. They wanted to make sure that that was going to be all set up that way. You can do things that are uniquely Vegas, and I get it. You want them to be the darling. You want that to work out well. Their sustainability has been impressive. There are certain things that I don't like about it, obviously, but it worked out very well, and it's worked out very well for Seattle as well. They haven't had that same type of success, but in their second year, they already made the playoffs. And I wonder again, when the NHL does their expansion, do they get the same rules that Vegas did, where they get to have the pick of the litter out of the unprotected players and get that amount of talent again?
Well, they should. One thing that Vegas took full advantage of was that at the time there were a lot of general managers who were ready to deal to keep certain players that in hindsight they probably should have just let go of.
Yes, I do think you said that perfectly, Ian. And I do think, as far as that expansion draft, a lot of those GMs maybe, as you said, didn't hold on to the right players, but maybe they didn't realize that they can only protect so many. They didn't protect the right ones.
Well, the one that always is highlighted for me was the pick they made for the Anaheim Ducks, right? They selected a guy named Clayton Stoner, and at first everyone's like, wait, you picked this guy over another one of their prospects?
Yeah.
Yeah, there's got to be something else. And then boom, it's announced that they also get Shea Theodore. And it's like, oh,
Right.
yep. That's why.
They knew exactly what they were doing. They knew what type of player it was going to end up being. As this goes missed off the front of the rim, it's a 10-point lead for Iowa State. We got about 7:10 left to go in this second. This has been a very defensive battle on the second of extra pass inside Jackson, and a foul called against Dickinson. That's his third, and that was from behind. Fourth, excuse me. 6 points and 4 fouls. That might be the end of this game for Kansas, unless they can find a way to get some points. I don't think so.
Yeah, I don't think so either. Also, the other clutch pick that Vegas got was, oh my lord. You look at the Florida Panthers now, and they are completely unrecognizable just from the fact that they're competent. Because how do you let Jonathan Marchessault go?
You tell me. I think that one still hurts for Vegas. He seemed like that was a perfect fit, and he was probably going to retire there. That was my thought.
Oh, I was talking about when they picked him. Like, how did Panthers let him go?
Didn't they do the same thing for Marchessault in between the Bolts and the Panthers? They both had Marchessault, and they both let him go.
Yeah. Well, and then to top it all off, they attached Riley Smith when Vegas picked him too.
Yeah.
Wow.
That was another really good one for the Golden Knights. And then William Karlsson was another one of those players that has been there for a long time. He's still there, one of the original Misfits. 57 to 46. as Harris really needs to knock down these free throws. He missed the first 4, and he rolls out 5 of 6 missed at the line. 57-46, Iowa State with the lead. 5 for 5 in the second half of free throws for Iowa State, 1 for 4 for Kansas. As Gilbert trying to pass this one across. KJ Adams trying to give it a go again. Mayo, Euro lays it in. Mercifully, Kansas gets some points as KJ Adams was continuing to walk around. Now he's back in on the bench. That shoulder's just really bothering him. As now Jones try to get a screen there from Watson, and he missed it off the front of the rim. Kansas has to score here. Try to take this right to left. Dickinson's got 4 fouls, only has 6 points. As this is Griffen off the floater. Don't go anywhere now. Jayhawks with 5 straight. 7 points on 3 of 3 for Rylan. Griffen off the bench. 6 minutes left to go in the second. Iowa State now trying to answer. They had 40 points at the end of the first half. They only got 17 now. Lipsey on the drive gets blocked by Dickinson. And this will stay with the Cyclones. 5:48 left. 13 seconds to go on the shot clock. So Dickinson will get a breather here for the Jayhawks. And they'll bring back in Bidunga. The number 40 has been really good off the bench. He has 3 blocks already. As this will be passed inside from Heiss. And it'll be picked up. Jefferson gets fouled inside toward the right of the paint, the right elbow. When we look at this again here as far as who's going to get picked up on the foul, that will be A.J. Storr in off the bench. We'll do it again, sideline out of bounds for Gilbert. Good Florida attempt right from 5, but this is missed, and Harris has the rebound. He pushes up ahead. An opportunity for Bidunga, and 1! Kansas now might only be down 4 should they make this free throw.
Well then, they're not dead yet.
No, this game has changed. It was 57-45. It was 6:59 left to go of the half. Now it's 5:37. So just in a minute's time, a lot of things have changed. And this is pretty much the second time I've said it's come out of nowhere. So Bidunga needs this free throw, and he missed it. Kansas gets their own rebound, though. Now Moore, and off the push, Mayo. Try to get to the rim. He gets cut off. Now Mayo. Off the jump stop, it's a 7-0 run. Too short. Kansas gets the ball again. It's Harris toward the right side baseline. One more cross-court pass, and this missed for 3. Bidunga tried to save it, and the Cyclones get it with Jefferson. Iowa State now needs points. 5 minutes left to go here. In this second half, it's a 5-point game. 57-52 Cyclones. Jones, floater, short off the front of the rim. This is a foul called against Bidunga. 4:53 left to go in this game. So Demarion Watson able to draw that foul. Another backup big off the bench. Watson was part of the guilty party as KJ Adams ran into him and injured the right shoulder. KJ's been trying to give it a go a couple times. As now Watson's going to go to the line to shoot free throws, and he missed the first. So a lot of missed free throws here so far between the two. Watson has 1 more. Jayhawks just 3 of 9. Cyclones a little bit better, 12 of 15, but they've missed the last couple. Watson 1 more. Splits the pair. Make it 58-52. It's back to 6. And Harris slowly across the timeline. Got Gilbert in his grill. Gets a screen there from Bidunga. Now it's Moore. He'll shoot a long 3. Too strong off the back iron. Watson skies for the rebound. Iowa State needs to take their time now and bleed this 30-second shot clock. Maybe try to get something at the rim, try to draw a foul. That is what Jefferson tries to do, and that's exactly what he'll get. Jayhawks have to pick up a foul here. This one will go against them, and when we take a look and see who that is on, that'll be again for Bidunga. That is his fourth. So he's got 4. Dickinson has 4, and their best shot blockers and rim paint protectors are in serious jeopardy. Jefferson can't make the first. So Iowa State's starting to leave some lettuce at the line. Hunter Dickinson will check in for Bidunga. And on the same side for the Cyclones, they will make some changes. Again, my apologies. Deshaun Jackson will want to check in. Mayo will sit out for Kansas. Jefferson trying to split the pair. And he can't. This is off the back iron. Jackson will actually save it, get his own rebound. So the Cyclones will get a little bit of a reset. Long 3 for Jones! And he wakes up in the second half. Knocks down the 3. 2 missed free throws for Iowa State. They get their own rebound. And then hit a long 3. It's going to force Bill Self to take a TO. 61-52. That was from 25 feet. We'll take a timeout. 4:10 left to go in the second half.
You know, that was Jones. I'm reading on ESPN that was Lipsey.
Lipsey, thank you. Again, I'm looking on that. You're correct. 4:15, 61-52. That will give Lipsey now his 10th point as he hits the long 3 off the rebound. Thank you for that, Ian. I look and see that the Nittany Lions try to make this a game against the Spartans. It is 11 for Niederhauser for the Nittany Lions, and the Spartans have balanced scoring all the way across. Cohen Carr with 9, Jeremy Fears Jr. with 7, Akins with 8. Izzo squad has balanced scoring here as the Spartans only have 9 points in the second half, but they're leading 55-49. Penn State having a good start to the second half.
I also urge you to look at Georgia and Tennessee. They're in, no pun intended, they are in a dogfight right now.
Yes, they are. 26-25 at the half. My goodness. Cade Phillips is 8 off the bench for Tennessee. And Georgia's leading scorer, Asa Newell, with 8 as well. But, man, oh, man, I think they've probably just – I don't know if that was a 2 or a 3. 26-25, Georgia at the half. So that one definitely will be, maybe even first to 40.
Right. Good Lord.
Tennessee is 15-1 on the year. Georgia's 14-2. Again, I'm watching this on the end of ESPN2. I know they're going to have Australian Open. I will bounce up before that. I'll probably be back for the Panthers and Red Wings, but after what just happened with the San Jose Sharks, hopefully I don't cry on air.
Hope you're the best, man.
Yeah, because every time I end up having to watch the Red Wings in Florida, I think the Panthers have won 18 of the last 21 against the Red Wings there. So that will be something to watch for. So underneath 4 minutes Kansas is down 9. And now we'll see what happens with all of these missed free throws. A.J. Storr puts his head down, and that'll be a blocking foul against the Cyclones. Sent Gilbert flying. And I don't know if it's going to be in the bonus yet for both of these teams. But A.J. Storr wants to be able to go to the line, but he put his head down with reckless abandon, and he laid the boom in on Gilbert. That sent him into the stanchion as he was sliding across the court. So he definitely got hit pretty hard. So they'll call a block and foul, and as Kansas is in the bonus, they really have no choice here but to hit some free throws. They've got to do it. So Gilbert is the one that had to take the foul. And Storr is going to go to the line now with 2. He makes the first. Kansas, again, if they lose, they'll be 12-4. Iowa State will be 15-1. Iowa State's been able to play good defense all the way across the board. Kansas missed another one. And a battle for the ball. This will be loose on the floor. We're going to see what the possession arrow is going to be as Jones try to get it. And they're going to say Iowa State basketball. So that'll be good there for the Cyclones. Again, a lot of missed free throws here for Kansas. Looking back into the box score, 4 of 11. And you think about exactly where the score line is, 61-53. I mean, that's your difference right there in a game like this. So Iowa State now is the shot clock. Game clock starts to wind down. This will be Jones with the basketball here alongside Gilbert. Gilbert now against Harris, gets a screen from Jackson, trying to get around Dickinson. Dishon Jackson now trying to find a piece of it. He got bothered a bunch by Storr. That was some excellent defense. He got a little too handsy, though, as he gets the call there. 2 fouls against him with 3:30 left to go in this second. Again, Zeke Mayo, the leading scorer, had to shoot a bunch to get to it. 7 of 18 with 17 points for Kansas. That really was the only main stretch of offense. Curtis Jones, number 5, 20 points on 8 of 16. He's been closed off in the second half as Jackson makes the first. Jackson has an opportunity for one more. Should he make it, will give Iowa State a 10-point lead with 3:30 left to go in the second. Missed it off the front of the rim. I feel like I've been saying that a lot between both of these teams. Storr has this one now across the timeline, now toward the left wing. Jackson trying to guard a little closer now as he's cut off baseline. Pocket pass. Harris with the floater. He makes it. 62-55 as Kansas tries to draw closer. Now they'll see if they'll show and go a little bit with a little full court defense. As Lipsey able to break that a little bit. Lipsey gets a screen from Jackson. Pocket pass. Inside Jackson, he blows the bunny. Tried to save it. And another foul is going to get called against Kansas. That's against Storr. Back-to-back fouls for him now. So Storr is going to pick up his third. Bill Self can't be happy with the amount of sloppy play, just not being able to hold on to the pumpkin. Either it's a lot of sweat on the basketball or a little too much contact. That has been the call for the utmost part. And Storr's got his third with 3 points off the bench. Jackson last split the pair the last time he was here. He's going to try to go for 9 of 11 if he can make both, as he makes it a 63-55 game. Iowa State's leads back up to 8. It's been a good defensive game for the Cyclones. That's what I've noticed the most. And Kansas has struggled for offense. Jackson makes both. Makes it 64-55. And Iowa State's got to sense the moment now. The crowd getting a lot of their feet. They're doing a lot of clapping here. 64-55. Iowa State get a chance to make some changes. Sideline out of bounds. Kansas now off the spin. Needs some help. Toward the right side baseline. Extra pass. Harris just saves it. And alongside for cross court, Storr. Full drive. He'll miss it. This one's set there for Chadford. And now here for Jones. Toward the right side. It's Lipsey. Able to kill some time. That's all you want to do here. If you're the Cyclones, show the double does Kansas. Try to force the turnover, but this will stay with Iowa State. They'll take a TO. 2:19 left to go in the second.
Forces it baseline and Gilbert right there. There to take a charge, but then Shakeel grabs the defensive rebound. They're even when they get in scramble mode, whether it's rotation or scramble, they do a great job of helping and then helping the helper. Saturday on ESPN. For the 2012 UAB in Lexington, Lexington matchup in the SEC between two very, very good teams. Alabama and Kentucky will have it for you next. Streaming is also available on the ESPN app. Consecutive weeks in the top 10 of the AP poll, the station after last season.
So in through last season, just a quick little stat for ESPN. Thank you for that. 18 weeks in the top 10 for Iowa State, which is the longest active in the D1. Lipsey. Now we'll try to get this toward the top of the key. Shot clock down to 5. He's got to throw it inside to Jefferson, who's going to get an easy 2. And that might be all she wrote here for Kansas. 66-55. They made one run at it. Jefferson tried to force the steal. This one will be blocked by Chatfield. An opportunity. Lipsey. Jones. Lob for Chatfield. Throws it down. 68-55 Iowa State. And the crowd's going to sense it now. Again, I don't think they need to storm the court here, but that is college basketball tradition. 1:43 left to go in the second. Bill Self takes a TO, but it's probably for dinner plans at this point because Iowa State, a couple of steals, get some baskets, and it looks like we're going to be all set to go here as far as who wins this. We're just going to figure out what the score is. And another 148. Jones to Chatfield gets his lob, and that one's got to feel good.
And Kansas will drop another one, but somehow they will still remain ranked.
Yeah, they will, because it's not going to be quantified, Ian, as a bad loss. But from what my eyes are watching here right now, it's clear that Iowa State's on a whole other level than Kansas is.
Yeah. And Missouri will remain unranked despite taking down number 1 and a number 5 seed.
That would shock me if that continues. And I think if they stick with their business, they're going to get in the top 25 soon enough.
Yeah. Oh, not to mention they're also 3-1 in conference play at the moment. So
right. That's going to go a long way to continue to build that because those wins you already talked about, I think they might already have their ticket punched. So we'll get set to finish this off here. Harris still out there right now. Bill Self's not emptying his bench just yet. Mayo, he got bodied right at the rim. Couldn't even get his shot off. He went up there trying to get the layup. He ran right into a brick wall as this goes back for Jones. And Mayo going to call for a reach-in. So Kansas absolutely got outplayed today from what we saw. It's been too many fouls, too many turnovers. And I know Iowa State's a good team, and I don't want to say this the wrong way, but I do think Kansas played a little bit too sloppy, and they missed too many free throws as well. So this was not their best showing as Jones knocks down the first. They're in the double bonus, so it's going to be 2 free throws no matter what. And all that means is the score line is going to get a little more ballooned here, as it's now 70-55. That is just his second point in the second half for Curtis Jones. He exploded in the first. They didn't need much after that. As Kansas, I'll try to move this around. Chance right toward the rim. Have to go baseline. Harris, one more pass for Storr. Missed the 3, and Jefferson gets the rebound. And Iowa State can bleed the clock out. And they're going to take this win over Kansas as we've got a minute left 70-55 as the crowd raises to their feet. I think they got a lot to be happy about. Again, they hold Kansas to 25 so far. I know the ESPN box is a little bit ahead of me, but 25, and then they scored 40 in that half. Pretty much put them in a box. Jones, long three. My goodness, he hit that from the logo. 73-55, a straightaway three. And that brings everybody to their feet. Even a couple of the guys on the bench for Iowa State have their hands on their heads. They can't believe it. So 5 straight points for Jones. But he hit that one from the Iowa State logo. 73-55. Now I'll give to Storr. Storr will work his way and off the glass and lay it in. And Iowa State's going to be able to sit on this basketball, and that should be the final once they cross the half-court marker, as the shot clock and game clock is only reset from a second here. So 73-57 should be your final score, unless Iowa State wants to add anything else to it. As the crowd rises as one and claps their hands, this is a pretty dominant win for the Cyclones. And good luck for me to be able to cover a college basketball game every once in a while and watch these two teams play. Storr going to pick up another foul. That's his 4th. And Iowa State in the double bonus, I guess we'll add a couple more points to this. At least one more if they can split. As you take a look at the long three that was knocked down there for Jones. He only had 5 in the second half. He just made 2 free throws and an extremely long three as Jefferson at the line splits the pair. And Iowa State started to miss some free throws down the stretch, but not nearly as many as Kansas did. A lot of turnovers, a lot of fouls, some sloppy play, and that defense forced them into mistakes. 74-57, one more inbound. Kansas race across the timeline, and they'll take the layup that does not count at the buzzer. 74-57, dominating win for TJ Otzelberger, 12th win versus AP top 10 as the Iowa State head coach. So that's it for me tonight. I'll be back tomorrow in between the Florida Panthers and the Red Wings. May God have mercy on my soul until then, because we don't know what's going to happen. But Iowa State wins this one big. Ian, I'll see you tomorrow. You be well, my friend.
You too, John.